Pain woke me, not the kind that fades, the kind that roots itself in your bones and screams that something is fundamentally wrong. My shoulder was on fire. My chest felt like someone had parked a truck on it. And when I tried to open my eyes, the light stabbed through my skull like knives. But none of that mattered, because the last thing I remembered was Damien's hand finding mine, his voice breaking, his blood mixing with mine on that expensive floor. And Noah. God, Noah had been screaming. I forced my eyes open despite the pain. White ceiling, beeping machines, the sharp smell of antiseptic mixed with something metallic. Blood, probably mine. Hospital. I was in a hospital, which meant I wasn't dead. My right shoulder was wrapped in so many bandages I couldn't move it without agony shooting down my arm. An IV dripped clear liquid into my left hand. Monitors beeped a steady rhythm that should have been comforting but just reminded me I was hooked up like a broken machine. I tried to sit up. Bad idea. The room spun violently and nausea hit me so hard I thought I'd pass out again. Easy. A hand pressed gently on my good shoulder. Don't move yet. You lost a lot of blood. I turned my head, slowly, carefully, and found a nurse standing beside my bed. Middle-aged woman with kind eyes and tired lines around her mouth. My son, I croaked. My throat felt like sandpaper. Where's my son? The little boy? He's safe, with security outside. She adjusted my IV with practiced efficiency. He's been asking about you every 10 minutes, driving the guards crazy. Relief flooded through me so intensely I felt tears burn my eyes. Noah was safe. And I swallowed hard. And Damien? The man who was with me? Her expression shifted, became guarded. Mr. Volkov is in surgery, has been for the past 4 hours. 4 hours. I'd been unconscious for 4 hours while Damien was on an operating table because he'd taken a bullet meant for me. I need to see him. I tried to sit up again, ignoring the way the room tilted. You need to stay in bed. The nurse's hand was firm. Doctor's orders. You had a through-and-through gunshot wound to your shoulder. Missed the bone by half an inch. You're lucky to be alive. Lucky. Right. How long until... The door burst open. 2 men in dark suits entered, moving with that same military precision I'd seen from Constantine's team. But these weren't Constantine's men. Their faces were unfamiliar, harder, with eyes that swept the room like they expected threats to materialize from the walls. Clear, one of them said into a radio. Then another figure stepped through the door, straight through the doorway. Tall, silver hair, despite looking maybe 50. Expensive suit that screamed old money, and eyes the exact same steel gray as Damien's. He looked at me like he was cataloging every weakness, every vulnerability, deciding if I was worth his time. So you're the Omega. His accent was thicker than Damien's. Pure European, maybe Russian. The one my nephew nearly died for. Nephew, oh God. Who are you? My voice came out steadier than I felt. Alexei Volkov. He moved closer and the nurse quietly excused herself, clearly knowing when she wasn't wanted. Damien's uncle, head of the Volkov family. His eyes narrowed. And the man who's going to decide whether you're an asset or a liability. Ice flooded my veins. I didn't ask for any of this. No. You just happened to help a bleeding stranger. Happened to catch my nephew's attention. Happened to move into his private residence. Alexei pulled up a chair, sitting with the casual confidence of someone who owned whatever room he entered. Happened to get him shot protecting you. The accusation in his voice was clear. That's not fair. Fair? He laughed, cold and sharp. Nothing about this situation is fair. My nephew, the most careful, calculated man I know, throws himself in front of a bullet for an Omega he's known for 3 days. Do you understand how insane that is? He said, my throat tightened. He said we were fated. Fated. Alexei's jaw clenched. Yes, he mentioned that. Right before he ordered me to protect you and your son with every resource at my disposal. Right before he went into surgery with a collapsed lung and internal bleeding. The words hit me like physical blows. Collapsed lung, internal bleeding. Is he going to... I couldn't finish the question. Die? Maybe. The doctors are optimistic, but Alexei leaned forward. That's not what I'm here to discuss. I'm here because someone betrayed us. Someone inside our organization sent that shooter. And until I find out who and why, everyone is a suspect. You think I... Disbelief choked me. You think I had something to do with this? I think the timing is suspicious. I think an unknown Omega appears in my nephew's life, and suddenly there's a betrayal. That's not coincidence. I was shot too. Superficial wound. You'll heal. His eyes were merciless. Damien might not. The machines beeped steadily around us. Outside, I could hear muffled voices. Guards, probably, keeping everyone else away. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, too bright, making my head pound worse. Alexei watched me with those Volkov eyes, calculating, cold, so similar to Damien's but lacking any warmth. I didn't betray him, I said quietly. I couldn't. My voice cracked. He saved my life. He saved my son. Why would I? Because that's what people do. They see an opportunity. They take it. They see weakness. They exploit it. He stood, buttoning his suit jacket with precise movements. Damien saw you as fated. I see you as a complication. Then why are you protecting us? Because he asked me to. And because, Alexei paused at the door. Because if you are his fated mate and I let something happen to you while he's incapacitated, he'll never forgive me, blood or not. The door opened. A doctor appeared, young, nervous, with blood on his scrubs. My heart stopped. Mr. Volkov, the doctor addressed Alexei, your nephew is out of surgery. And he's stable, critical, but stable. The next 24 hours will tell us. I want to see him. I was already trying to get out of bed. IV be damned. You can't, the doctor started. She can. Alexei's voice cut through any protest. Get her a wheelchair. If she's going to be part of this family, she might as well see what that costs. They wheeled me through corridors that all looked the same. White walls, antiseptic smell, the soft squeak of the wheelchair on linoleum. Noah was waiting outside my room with two guards who looked relieved to see me. Mama! He launched himself at me, careful of my shoulder but clinging tight. You're awake. I'm okay, baby. I held him with my good arm, breathing in his little boy scent. I'm okay. Damien got hurt worse. Noah's voice was small, scared. I saw the blood. There was so much blood. I know, sweetheart, but he's strong. He's going to be okay. I hoped I wasn't lying. The boy comes too, Alexei said. Not a question. We made a strange procession. Me in the wheelchair, Noah on my lap, two guards flanking us, Alexei leading like some grim general. The ICU was quieter, dimmer. Each room held someone balanced on the knife's edge between living and dying. Damien's room was at the end. Alexei held up a hand, stopping us outside. 5 minutes. He won't be conscious, but... His expression flickered. He might sense you're there. The door opened, and nothing could have prepared me for what I saw. Damien looked like death. That's the only way to describe it. His skin was gray beneath the oxygen mask. Tubes ran everywhere. Breathing tube, chest tube, multiple IVs. Machines surrounded him, beeping and hissing, keeping him alive through sheer mechanical force. The strong, dangerous man who'd kissed me in Noah's doorway was gone. In his place was someone broken, vulnerable, mortal. Oh God, I whispered. Noah pressed closer to me, frightened by all the machines. They removed one bullet from his chest, Alexei said quietly. Another grazed his lung. If his bodyguard had aimed 2 inches to the left... He didn't finish. I wheeled myself closer to the bed. My good hand found Damien's, cold, so cold, and wrapped around his fingers. I'm here, I whispered. I'm here and I'm safe. Noah's safe. You cannot... My voice broke. You can rest now. We're okay. Nothing. No response. Just the steady beep of monitors and the mechanical hiss of the ventilator. He whispered something, I said suddenly, looking at Alexei. Right before I passed out. Did the paramedics say, no? Alexei's expression was unreadable. What did he say? I tried to remember. The memory was hazy, covered in pain and fear and darkness. But I could almost hear it. Almost. He said, I closed my eyes, reaching for it. He said, "Stay with me. I can't lose you." I opened my eyes, tears blurring my vision. But there was more. Something else. Something that made me... The machine started screaming. Alarms blared. Damien's monitor flatlined. One long, terrible tone. Doctors rushed in, pushing us aside. "Clear the room, now!" Alexei grabbed my wheelchair, pulling us back. "No!" I tried to resist. "I need to... Out! Now!" Through the chaos of medical personnel, I caught one last glimpse of Damien, still, silent, lifeless, before someone pressed paddles to his chest. "Clear!" His body jerked. The monitor stayed flat. "Again! Clear!" They made us wait in the hallway. Noah was crying. The guards looked uncomfortable. Alexei stood like a statue, expression locked down tight, and I sat there numb, watching doctors work through the window to save the man who'd taken a bullet for me. This was my fault if I hadn't helped him that night in the alley, if I hadn't signed that contract, if I hadn't brought my son into his world. "Stop!" Alexei's voice cut through my spiraling thoughts. "I can see you blaming yourself. Don't." "How can I not? He's dying because of me. He's dying because someone betrayed him. Because Constantine..." His jaw clenched. "Because I failed to see the traitor in our ranks. That's on me, not you." Constantine? The name felt like poison. "Where is he?" "Alive, barely. The blow to his head caused internal bleeding. He's in surgery now." Alexei's smile was cold. "When he wakes up, I'll make sure he wishes he died." The casual violence in his voice should have terrified me. Instead, I felt something dark unfurl in my chest. Good. I wanted Constantine to suffer for what he'd done, for shooting Damien, for shooting me, for terrifying my son. I wanted him to pay. "What did Constantine say?" I asked. Before everything went black. Did he say why?" "No. He shot you through that bookend. Impressive aim, by the way. And then chaos." Alexei glanced at me. "But we'll find out. He'll talk. Eventually." The doctors emerged from Damien's room. The lead surgeon pulled down his mask, looking exhausted. "He's stable. For now." Relief hit me so hard I nearly fell out of the wheelchair. "For now?" Alexei pressed. His heart stopped for 43 seconds. We got it beating again, but the doctor hesitated. "The next 24 hours are critical. If he makes it through, his chances improve significantly." If. Such a small word for such enormous weight. They let me stay. Alexei arranged for a cot to be brought into Damien's room. Noah curled up next to me, exhausted from crying, and fell into fitful sleep. I sat there in the dim light, holding Damien's hand, listening to machines breathe for him. "You have to wake up," I whispered, "because I need to know what you said, what you whispered that made me fight." My phone buzzed. I'd forgotten I even had it. Someone, probably Constantine's replacement, had retrieved it from the penthouse. Unknown number. My blood went cold. He's not going to make it. And when he dies, you're next. Then the boy. My hand shook so hard I nearly dropped the phone. Another message came through immediately. "Did you really think Constantine acted alone? This is bigger than you know, bigger than the Volkovs, and you just made yourself the perfect target." I looked up at the door. Guards outside, more guards at the elevator, security everywhere. But someone had my number. Someone knew I was here. Someone was still hunting us. A third message arrived. This one was different. No words, just a photo of Noah, taken today, in this hospital, in the hallway outside. Someone had been close enough to photograph my son. My breath stopped. The phone buzzed again. "The Mafia King can't protect you if he's dead. And judging by those machines, he's as good as gone. So here's my offer. Leave. Take the boy. Disappear. Or stay and watch him die too." I stared at that message, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might burst. Leave Damien while he was dying. Run away and hide. Keep Noah safe. Or stay. Fight. Risk everything on the chance that Damien would wake up. The choice should have been simple. But then Damien's fingers twitched in mine. Just barely. So slight I almost missed it. And I remembered what I couldn't remember before. the words he'd whispered that had made me fight to live. You're mine and I'm yours. That means we don't give up. Ever. I looked at that threatening message one more time. Then I typed back with shaking hands. Come for my son, and I'll show you why the Mafia King chose me. I hit send, and knew I'd just declared war. The phone rang immediately. Unknown number. Again. I answered, my voice steady despite my terror. Hello? Silence. Then breathing. Then, you have no idea what you've just done, little Omega. The voice was familiar, horribly familiar. But it couldn't be, because that voice belonged to someone who was supposed to be dead. Daniel? I whispered. Noah's father laughed on the other end of the line. Surprise, baby. Did you miss me? The phone slipped from my hand, hit the floor with a crack that seemed impossibly loud in the quiet room. Daniel, Daniel's voice. Daniel, who was supposed to be dead for 3 years. No. The word came out broken. No, you're dead. The car accident. Alexei said. I scrambled to pick up the phone, my injured shoulder screaming in protest. My good hand shook so badly I could barely grip it. You still there, Elias? His voice was smooth, amused, like this was all some hilarious joke. Or did the shock finally shut you up? God knows I could never manage that when we were together. Rage flooded through me, hot and vicious. You left me. My voice was raw. You left me pregnant and alone and you survived. Look at you now, shacking up with a Mafia Kingpin, living in a penthouse, playing house. His laugh was cruel. I have to say, baby, you've upgraded. I was just a low-level finance guy. Damien Volkov? That's impressive. Don't you dare say his name. Why not? He's the reason I had to come back, the reason I had to break my cover. Something shifted in his tone. You were supposed to stay small, Elias, stay invisible, raise our son quietly and never attract attention. But then you had to go and help the most dangerous man in the city. Our son, like he had any right to claim Noah. Why? I demanded. Why fake your death? Why? Because I was paid to disappear. Very well paid. Daniel's voice hardened. I had information certain people wanted buried. Information about the Volkov family's operations, about their connections, their money laundering networks, He paused. Well, let's just say I knew things that could destroy them. My mind was racing. You worked for them? Worked adjacent to them. Silvercrest Logistics wasn't just a shipping company, sweetheart. It was one of the Volkovs' fronts, and I kept very detailed records of every illegal shipment, every bribe, every dirty transaction. He sounded proud of himself. Then I sold those records to their competitors and vanished. 3 years ago. 3 years ago. Right when the Volkovs started consolidating power. Right when they started eliminating anyone who knew too much. His breathing quickened slightly. I should have stayed gone. Should have let you think I was dead. But then you had to go and become Damien Volkov's weakness. The word hit me like a slap. Weakness. And now, Daniel continued, people are very interested in you, in Noah, in what Damien might give up to keep you both safe. You're threatening your own son. My son is a tool, just like you, just like everyone. No emotion in his voice at all. Here's how this works. You're going to convince Damien, if he wakes up, which honestly isn't looking good, to back off his current expansion plans, to stop hunting the people who hired Constantine, to let this go. Or what? Or I take Noah, and you never see him again. Ice flooded my veins. I looked down at my sleeping son, curled up on the cot, his hands still clutching his triceratops. Innocent, trusting. You won't touch him. I'm his father. You're nothing. The words came out feral. You're a ghost who chose money over his own child. And if you come near Noah, you'll what? Daniel laughed. You're a wounded Omega in a hospital room with a dying mafia boss. What exactly do you think you can do? My eyes landed on the guards outside the door, on Alexei, still visible through the window, talking on his phone with that cold, calculated expression. I'll tell them who you are, what you did. The Volkovs will hunt you to the ends of the earth. They have to find me first. His voice dropped lower. And by the time they do, I'll have Noah somewhere they'll never reach. Somewhere even their money and power can't touch. Why? My voice cracked. Why now? You've been gone for 3 years. Why come back? Because the people I sold information to, they're making their move. The attack on Damien wasn't random. It was the opening shot of a war. And they want you and Noah as insurance, as leverage. He paused. I'm just the middleman. But if you cooperate, I can keep you both alive, protected, maybe even let you have some kind of relationship with the kid. You're insane. I'm practical. There's a difference. I heard movement on his end. Footsteps, a door closing. You have 24 hours to think about it. If Damien dies, the deal's off, and I take Noah anyway. If he lives, you convince him to stand down. Either way, the line went dead. I sat there, phone pressed to my ear, listening to silence. 24 hours. The same timeline the doctor had given for Damien's survival. This wasn't coincidence. Daniel knew exactly what was happening, which meant he had someone on the inside. Someone feeding him information. Someone who wasn't Constantine. My shoulder throbbed. My head pounded. And my son was sleeping 3 feet away, completely unaware that his biological father, a man he'd never met, was planning to kidnap him. I had to tell Alexei. I had to. Damien's hand twitched in mine again. Stronger this time. I looked up at his face, half hidden behind oxygen masks and tubes. His eyes were still closed, but his fingers, they wrapped around mine with deliberate pressure. Damien, I whispered, can you hear me? Nothing, just the steady beep of monitors, but his hand held mine tighter. He was in there, fighting his way back. I need you, I said quietly. I need you to wake up, because I don't know how to do this alone. I don't know how to. My voice broke. I thought about Daniel's words, about being a weakness, about Noah being a tool. I thought about that photo of my son, taken right here in this hospital by someone who'd gotten past all the security. I thought about Damien taking a bullet for me without hesitation, and I realized something. I wasn't going to run, wasn't going to hide, wasn't going to let Daniel or his employers or anyone else use my son as a bargaining chip. If they wanted a war, I'd give them one, but I needed Damien alive to fight it. You have to wake up, I told him, squeezing his hand, because I just declared war on my dead ex and whoever's pulling his strings. And I'm going to need the Mafia King at my back when they come for us. His fingers twitched again. Then his eyes opened. Just barely. Just slits of gray that focused on my face with agonizing slowness. I stopped breathing. Elias. His voice was barely a whisper, distorted by the oxygen mask. But I heard it, heard my name in that rough tone. I'm here. Tears blurred my vision. I'm right here. Noah. Safe. Sleeping right there. I gestured with my head, not letting go of his hand. We're both safe. His eyes closed again, but his grip stayed strong. Constantine. The word was harsh, painful. Alive. Barely. Alexei's handling it. Good. A pause. Traitor? We'll talk about that when you're stronger. Right now you need to rest. No. His eyes opened again, more focused this time, despite the pain medication clearly running through his system. Tell me. I hesitated. He'd just come back from the dead. He was barely conscious. This wasn't the time, but his eyes demanded truth. My ex, I said quietly. Noah's father. He's alive. And he just threatened to take Noah, unless you back off from. I struggled to remember Daniel's exact words. From your expansion plans, from hunting whoever hired Constantine. Damien's expression didn't change, but something in his eyes went absolutely cold. Name. Daniel Frost. He faked his death 3 years ago. Sold information about your family's operations to your competitors. And now, I know. The words were hoarse but clear. I know who he is. My heart stopped. What? Constantine talked. Before surgery. Each word seemed to cost him. Said, your ex. Alive. Working with the Kozlov family. The who? Kozlovs. Damien's jaw clenched, and even that small movement made him wince. Russian mob. My family's. oldest enemies. They've been waiting for weakness, for opening, and I'm the opening. The realization hit me like cold water. Me and Noah, we're the weakness they've been looking for. No. His hand squeezed mine with surprising strength. You're not weakness. You're... He trailed off, eyes struggling to stay open. I'm what? Mine. Simple. Absolute. Which makes you the most protected thing in this city. Damien, you can barely breathe. Don't care. His eyes locked on mine. They threatened our son. They threatened you. So I'm going to... He coughed and blood flecked the oxygen mask. Stop talking. You're going to tear your stitches. Going to kill them all. Each word was deliberate. Final. Every single one. The machine started beeping faster. A nurse rushed in. He needs to rest. You need to leave. No. But Damien's hand released mine. His eyes closed. And the nurse was already adjusting medications, checking tubes, forcing him back under. Out. Now. Before you kill him with stress. I let them wheel me back to the hallway. Noah still sleeping in my lap. Alexei was waiting. He woke up, I said before he could ask. I know, the nurses alerted me. His eyes studied my face. What did you tell him? The truth. I met his gaze. About Daniel. About the threats. About Noah. And he said he's going to kill them all. Alexei's lips curved into something that might have been a smile on a less terrifying face. Good. That means he's going to live. He pulled out his phone. Because my nephew has never made a promise he didn't keep. He walked away, already barking orders into his phone about security, surveillance, hunting down a ghost. And I sat there holding my sleeping son, thinking about Daniel's voice, about that photo, about the 24-hour deadline. My phone buzzed one more time. Another message from Daniel. Cute that you think the Mafia King can protect you, but he's dying, and you just made my job easier. See you soon, baby. I stared at those words, then I typed back, his name is Noah, and you'll never touch him, because I'll kill you myself first. I hit send. And knew I meant every word. The phone felt like a weapon in my hand. I stared at my sent message, I'll kill you myself first, and felt something fundamental shift inside me. 5 days ago, I'd been a struggling single parent who avoided conflict, kept my head down, survived by staying invisible. Now I was threatening to murder my ex in a hospital hallway while my son slept in my lap and a mafia boss fought for his life 10 feet away. What had I become? The phone buzzed again. Big words for someone who couldn't even keep me the first time. But sure, baby. Try. I'd love to see you try. My grip tightened until my knuckles went white. Give me the phone. I looked up to find Alexei standing over me, hand extended. What? Your phone. Now. His voice left no room for argument. I handed it over, watching as he scrolled through the messages. His expression never changed, but something dark flickered in his eyes. Daniel Frost. He said the name like a curse. Constantine confirmed his involvement before we put him under again. He's been working with the Kozlovs for 3 years, feeding them information, helping them identify our vulnerabilities. His eyes met mine. You and Noah were supposed to be his insurance policy, his way back into their good graces after the information he sold went stale. He called Noah a tool. That's all the boy is to him, a bargaining chip. Alexei pocketed my phone. Which is why you're not communicating with him anymore. Every message gives him data, your emotional state, your location, your intentions. He already knows where I am. He sent me a photo of Noah. In this hospital, someone got close enough to... I know. We're reviewing security footage now. His jaw clenched. Someone on the staff is compromised. We'll find them. And if you don't, if Daniel gets to Noah before... He won't. Alexei's voice was absolute. Because starting now, you and your son don't leave my sight until Damien is back on his feet. I'm not some helpless Omega who needs constant protection. No, you're the future of the Volkov family. He said it simply, matter of fact. Whether you've accepted that yet or not, which makes you and Noah the most valuable assets we have. Assets I will not lose. Assets, tools, bargaining chips. Everyone kept reducing us to objects. I'm a person, I said quietly. Noah is a person. We're not. You're right. Alexei surprised me by crouching down so we were eye level. You're people. People my nephew has chosen to protect. People he took bullets for. People he whispered to while bleeding out. His eyes searched mine. What did he say? In the penthouse, before you lost consciousness. What did Damien whisper that made you fight? The memory came back stronger now. Clearer. Damien crawling toward me, leaving a trail of blood. His hand finding mine. His voice broken, desperate, raw. He said, my throat tightened. He said, you're mine, and I'm yours. That means we don't give up. Ever. Alexei's expression shifted, softened fractionally. That sounds like him. He stood. My nephew doesn't give up, doesn't surrender, doesn't quit. It's what makes him dangerous, and it's what's going to keep him alive. He looked toward Damien's room. The question is, are you the same? When Daniel comes for Noah, when the Kozlovs make their move, when everything falls apart, will you give up or will you fight? I looked down at my sleeping son, at his peaceful face, completely unaware of the danger circling us. Then I looked at my bandaged shoulder, at the blood that had soaked through my clothes, at the phone in Alexei's hand that held threats against everything I loved. I'll fight. The words came out steady. Sure. I'll do whatever it takes. Good. Alexei pulled out his own phone. Because we're about to make this very difficult for them. He made 3 calls. I only caught pieces, orders about security rotations, surveillance equipment, background checks on every hospital employee. His voice never rose, never showed emotion, just cold, clinical efficiency. This was what Damien would be like in a few years, I realized. This absolute control, this ruthless certainty. The thought should have terrified me. Instead, it made me feel safer. The penthouse is compromised, Alexei said after his last call. We're moving you to a secure location as soon as Damien can be transported. Until then, he gestured and 2 new guards appeared. These are Mikhail and Anton. They don't speak English, which makes them harder to bribe or manipulate. They'll be stationed inside Damien's room from now on. No one enters without my explicit permission. What about doctors, nurses? We've brought in our own medical team, people I've used for 20 years, people who know the cost of betrayal. His smile was cold. The hospital staff will be told Damien has been moved to another facility. As far as they know, this room is empty. You can do that? I can do anything. He said it without arrogance, just fact. The Volkov family built half this city. We own the other half. A few fake records and misdirection? He shrugged. Child's play. Noah stirred in my lap, mumbling something about dinosaurs. He should be in a proper bed, Alexei observed. There's a family suite on this floor. Private. Secure. I'll have it prepared. I'm not leaving Damien. The suite connects to his room. You'll be 10 feet away instead of 5. His eyes held mine. And your son will be able to sleep without hearing machines keeping someone alive. He's 4 years old, Elias. He's already seen too much. He was right. God, he was right. Noah had watched us both get shot, had seen the blood, heard the gunfire, witnessed his whole world explode into violence. What was that doing to him? Okay, I agreed quietly. The suite, but I want to be able to see Damien. There's a window, you'll have direct line of sight. Alexei was already moving. Come, we move now, while the shift change creates confusion. The family suite was nicer than my entire old apartment. 2 bedrooms connected by a living area, a kitchenette, soft lighting that didn't burn my eyes, and yes, a large window that looked directly into Damien's ICU room. I could see him from the couch, could watch his chest rise and fall with mechanical precision, could see the guards stationed like statues on either side of his bed. The window is one-way glass, Alexei explained. You can see him. He can't see you. Necessary for his recovery, he needs rest, not distraction. I wanted to argue, wanted to be at his bedside, but Noah was already exploring the bedrooms with cautious excitement, and I was exhausted down to my bones. There are clothes in the closet, Alexei continued. Your size and Noah's. Toiletries in the bathroom. Food will be brought 3 times daily. If you need anything at all, press this button. He indicated a panel by the door. Someone will respond within 30 seconds. You've done this before? It wasn't a question. Protected valuable assets? Yes. He moved toward the door. But if it helps, Elias, I've never seen my nephew look at anyone the way he looks at you. Not in 35 years. So while you may be an asset to the family, to him, his expression was unreadable. To him, you're everything. He left before I could respond. Noah fell asleep almost immediately once I got him into the bedroom. The adrenaline crash hit him hard, and within minutes he was curled around his triceratops, breathing deeply. I stood there for a long time, just watching him sleep. 4 years old and already caught in a war he didn't understand. Because of me, because I'd helped a stranger in an alley, because I'd said yes to impossible things. My phone? No. Alexei had my phone. I walked back to the living area, settling on the couch where I could see Damien through the window. He looked unchanged, still gray, still covered in tubes and wires, still fighting. You better wake up, I whispered to the glass, because I can't do this alone. I don't know how to fight the Kozlovs or find Daniel or protect Noah from a soft knock at the door. I tensed. Who is it? Medical team. A woman's voice accented. Mr. Alexei sent us to check your shoulder. I looked through the peephole. 2 women in scrubs, both middle-aged, both holding medical bags. Behind them stood one of the guards, Mikhail or Anton, I couldn't tell which. The guard nodded. Confirmation that they were safe. I opened the door. The older woman smiled professionally. I'm Dr. Kozlova. This is Nurse Petrov. We need to change your dressing and check for infection. Kozlova. The name hit me like ice water. Kozlova, I repeated slowly. Like the Kozlov family? Her expression didn't change. Common name in Russia, like Smith in America. She moved past me, setting her bag on the table. Your shoulder, please. Something felt wrong. The guard hadn't followed them in. The door had closed behind them, and Dr. Kozlova's smile didn't reach her eyes. Where's your ID badge? I asked, backing toward the window. Hospital staff doesn't wear badges in private suites. Security risk. She opened her medical bag. Now, if you'll just sit down, I want to see Alexei first. Mr. Volkov is handling a situation. He sent us to... Then I'll wait. My hand found the emergency button Alexei had shown me. Dr. Kozlova's smile vanished. That would be unwise. She pulled a syringe from her bag. Nurse Petrov moved to block the door, and I realized, too late, that Daniel's people had already gotten inside. One sound, Dr. Kozlova said quietly, and Nurse Petrov puts a bullet in your son's head. He's sleeping 10 feet away. She has excellent aim. Do you understand? I understood. I understood I'd just let the enemy walk right into my safe room. What do you want? You're coming with us, quietly, or the boy dies and Damien Volkov wakes up to find your body in his bed. She advanced with the syringe. Your choice, little Omega. Make it fast. Through the window, I could see Damien's chest rising and falling, oblivious, unconscious, unable to help. I was on my own. The syringe came closer, and I had seconds to decide. Fight or surrender. Fight and risk Noah's life. Surrender and trust that Alexei would find me before Daniel did whatever he planned. Dr. Kozlova's hand reached for my arm. I made my choice. I grabbed her wrist, twisted hard, and drove my knee into her stomach with everything I had. The syringe clattered to the floor. Nurse Petrov's hand went for her gun, and I screamed, loud, desperate, furious. Alexei! The door exploded inward. Not opened, exploded. Mikhail and Anton crashed through like twin battering rams, guns already drawn. Behind them, Alexei moved with lethal precision, his own weapon trained on Nurse Petrov before she could clear leather. Drop it, his voice was ice. Or I paint the walls with your brain. Petrov froze, hands still on her holster. Dr. Kozlova was doubled over on the floor, gasping for air where my knee had connected. The syringe lay 3 feet away, its contents pooling on the expensive carpet. Clear the boy's room, Alexei ordered without taking his eyes off the 2 women. Now, Anton disappeared through the bedroom door. I heard Noah cry out, confused and frightened, then Anton's heavily accented attempt at comfort. My son. They'd threatened my son. Something in me snapped. I crossed the space to Dr. Kozlova before anyone could stop me, grabbed a fistful of her hair, yanked her head back so she had no choice but to look at me. You threatened my child. My voice didn't sound like mine. You came into my safe room and threatened to put a bullet in my 4-year-old son's head. She spat blood. Go to... I slammed her face into the floor, not hard enough to knock her out, just hard enough to break her nose. The crunch was satisfying. Elias! Alexei's voice held warning. Step back. No. I tightened my grip on her hair. She was going to kill Noah. She said it. I know. I heard everything. He tapped his ear and I saw the small device there. The suite is monitored, audio and video. I was 10 seconds away when you screamed. His eyes flicked to me, though you didn't need me, apparently. My hands were shaking, adrenaline or rage, I couldn't tell which. The guard, I managed, outside. He nodded. He confirmed they were safe. He's already dead, Alexei said it without emotion. Throat cut, body in the supply closet. They used his security clearance to access this floor. Dead, because he'd been assigned to protect me. How many, Amra? I asked. These two, the dead guard, and at least 3 others were tracking. He jerked his head at Mikhail. Take them to the basement. Make sure Konstantin has company when he wakes up. Mikhail smiled. It wasn't a pleasant expression. They hauled both women to their feet, Dr. Kozlova still bleeding from her broken nose, Nurse Petrov finally looking scared, and dragged them toward the door. Wait! I stood, my injured shoulder screaming in protest. The syringe! What was in it? Dr. Kozlova laughed through blood. Wouldn't you like to know? I grabbed the syringe from the floor, held it up to the light. Clear liquid. Could be anything. Sedative, Alexei said. Standard dose for transport. They wanted you alive. His eyes narrowed on Kozlova. The question is, where were they taking you? She stayed silent. Doesn't matter. Alexei's smile was colder than hers. You'll tell me everything. Eventually. They always do. They dragged her out, still defiant, still bleeding. The door closed, and I stood there shaking, staring at the blood on the carpet, on my hands. Mama! I spun around. Noah stood in the bedroom doorway, clutching his triceratops, his eyes too wide. Anton hovered behind him, looking uncomfortable. Baby, it's okay. There was yelling, and breaking, and... His voice cracked. Are the bad people back? I crossed to him, dropping to my knees despite the pain. Pulled him close with my good arm. The bad people are gone. Alexei caught them. We're safe. But you screamed. Because I wanted Alexei to come help me. And he did. See? We're okay. Noah pressed his face into my shoulder. I don't like it here. I want to go home. Home. To the penthouse where we'd been shot. To the old apartment that didn't exist anymore. To some fantasy of safety that had never been real. I know, sweetheart. I know. I held him tighter. But right now, this is the safest place for us. I promise. Does Damien know about the bad people? I looked through the window at Damien's unconscious form. Still hooked to machines. Still fighting to breathe. Not yet, but when he wakes up, he'll make sure they can't hurt us again. When will he wake up? Soon. I hope soon. Anton left after Alexei posted 4 new guards outside. 2 at the door, 2 at the elevator. All of them handpicked. All of them loyal. All of them apparently willing to die to keep us safe. The weight of that sat heavy in my chest. People dying for me. People I'd never met who owed me nothing, laying down their lives because Damien Volkov had decided I was his. You handled that well. I looked up to find Alexei standing by the window watching Damien's room. I broke a woman's nose. She deserved worse. He turned to face me. You protected your son, used violence efficiently, didn't hesitate. His expression was approving. You're stronger than you look. I'm terrified. Good. Fear keeps you sharp. It's when you stop being afraid that you make mistakes. He moved closer. But you didn't make mistakes. You assessed the threat, acted decisively, called for backup. Those are alpha qualities. I'm an omega. Labels. He dismissed them with a wave. Damien chose you for a reason. Not because you're weak or need protection, though you'll have it regardless. He chose you because you're a survivor, a fighter. His eyes held mine. The question is, are you ready to be what this family needs? I don't know what this family needs. Strength, ruthlessness, the ability to make hard choices. He paused. The Kozlovs just made their move, sent trained operatives into a secure hospital to take you. That means they're desperate, means Damien's survival and your presence have upset their plans significantly. So this is just going to keep happening? Attack after attack until we eliminate the threat entirely. Yes, he said it simply. That's how this works. They struck at us. We strike back harder. Escalate until one side is completely destroyed. And Noah, what happens to him while we're destroying each other? He becomes what every Volkov child becomes, protected, educated, and eventually powerful enough that no one dares touch him. Alexei's expression softened fractionally. My nephew was 8 when he watched his parents die in a car bombing. Meant for my father. Killed them instead. You know what Damien did? I shook my head. He memorized every face at the funeral, spent 12 years tracking down everyone involved, and when he turned 20, he killed them all. Personally, one by one. Alexei's voice held something like pride. That's who you've tied yourself to. A man who doesn't forgive, doesn't forget, and never stops until his enemies are ash. The casual violence in his words should have horrified me. But I thought about Daniel's voice on the phone, about that photo of Noah, about Dr. Kozlova's threat to put a bullet in my son's head. Good, I heard myself say. I want them afraid. I want them to know that touching us means death. Alexei's smile was genuine this time. There it is. The fire Damien saw in you. He moved toward the door. Get some rest, real rest. The drugs they planned to use were powerful. You'll need your strength for what comes next. What comes next? War. He paused at the door. Damien wakes up, we move you to the fortress, and we burn the Kozlov family to the ground. You, me, and the man currently hooked to breathing machines. His eyes gleamed. It's going to be beautiful. He left. I checked on Noah, finally asleep again, exhausted by fear, then returned to the couch by the window. Damien lay there, unchanged. They came for me, I whispered to the glass, right into the safe room. They were going to take me and my voice cracked. I hurt her, broke her nose, and I didn't feel guilty. I felt satisfied. No response, just machines breathing for him. Is this who I am now? Someone who uses violence? Who threatens to kill people? Who? I pressed my hand to the glass. What have you turned me into? The monitors beeped steadily. Then, his hand moved. Not a twitch, a deliberate movement. His fingers flexed, reaching for something that wasn't there. Reaching for me. I stood pressed closer to the glass. Damien? His eyes opened. Not much, just slits, but they tracked to the window, to me. He couldn't see me through the one-way glass. But somehow, he knew I was there. His lips moved behind the oxygen mask. I couldn't hear him, couldn't read the words, but I understood anyway. Mine. Tears blurred my vision. Yours, I whispered back. I'm yours, and I'm not going anywhere. His eyes closed again, but his hand stayed outstretched. And I knew, with absolute certainty, that when he woke up fully, when he was strong enough to stand, when he could finally leave that bed, hell would follow him, and I would be right there beside him, because Daniel had been wrong about one thing. I wasn't Damien's weakness. I was his wrath given form. And together we were going to make everyone who'd threatened our family wish they'd never been born. My phone, no, not my phone. Alexei still had it. But there was a tablet on the side table. Hospital issued for patient families. I opened it, found the browser, typed in a search. Kozlov Family Operations. If we were going to war, I needed to know the enemy. The search loaded, and what I saw made my blood run cold. Because the Kozlov family patriarch, the man who'd ordered these attacks, who'd hired Daniel, who wanted me dead, was staring out from a news article, standing at a charity gala, right next to Marcus, my old supervisor from Silvercrest Logistics, the man who'd fired me, the man who'd set all of this in motion. They were working together, had been working together, which meant my firing hadn't been random, hadn't been about me being an unmated Omega. It had been deliberate, calculated. They'd pushed me into Damien's path on purpose. I was supposed to be the trap that destroyed him, but I'd become something else instead. I'd become his salvation. And now, looking at Marcus's smiling face next to a Kozlov crime boss, I understood exactly what I needed to do. I pressed the emergency button. 30 seconds later, Alexei appeared. "Show me how to send a message," I said. "An untraceable one." His eyebrow raised. "To whom?" "Marcus, my old supervisor." I turned the tablet toward him, because he's about to learn what happens when you try to use an Omega as bait. Alexei's smile was predatory. "Now you're thinking like family." Alexei pulled a laptop from seemingly nowhere, had he been carrying it this whole time, and set it on the table between us. "First lesson in staying alive," he said, booting it up. "Never use personal devices for anything that matters. This machine routes through 17 proxy servers across 9 countries. Untraceable, encrypted, clean." I watched the screen flicker to life, showing code I didn't understand scrolling past. "What do I say to him?" My voice was steadier than I felt. "What do I—" "You tell him exactly what he wants to hear." Alexei's fingers flew across the keyboard, pulling up what looked like a secure messaging platform. "Marcus thinks you're vulnerable, alone, terrified. So you give him that. You make him believe he's won. And then we follow him straight to the Kozlovs." His smile was cold. "He's middle management, expendable. But he knows things. Meeting locations, communication protocols, who gives orders." He turned the laptop toward me. "Make him feel powerful. Make him think you're desperate enough to betray Damien. He'll never believe that. Won't he?" Alexei's eyes held challenge. "You've known my nephew for 5 days, been shot, threatened, watched your son traumatized. From Marcus's perspective, you're an Omega who got in over your head with forces you don't understand. He'll believe you want out." I thought about Marcus, about his sneer when he'd fired me, about the satisfaction in his voice when he'd called me a liability. "He hated me," I said quietly, "from the day I started. Not because I did bad work, because I existed. An unmated Omega with a kid, taking up space in his department." "Perfect." Alexei leaned back. "Use that. Tell him he was right, that you made a mistake, that you need help getting away from Damien before it's too late." My fingers hovered over the keyboard. This felt wrong, manipulative, like I was becoming the kind of person who used lies as weapons. But then I thought about Dr. Kozlov's threat, about that syringe, about Noah's terrified face. I started typing. "Marcus, it's Elias. I need your help." I hesitated, then kept going. "You were right about everything. I shouldn't have gotten involved with these people. I'm in over my head and I don't know how to get out. Please, I'm scared for my son." "Good," Alexei murmured, reading over my shoulder. "Now make it personal. Give him something that feels like insider information. Damien is in the hospital. Critical condition. His uncle Alexei has taken over. And he's not like Damien. He's colder, scarier. He looks at Noah like he's calculating the boy's value. That last part was a lie. Alexei had been nothing but protective toward Noah. But Marcus didn't know that. I need to get out before something happens, before they decide we're more trouble than we're worth. You know people, right? You always said you had connections. Please, I'll do anything." I hit send before I could second-guess myself. Now we wait. Alexei closed the laptop. "He'll either respond immediately or verify with his Kozlov contacts first. Either way, we'll know within the hour if he's taking the bait. And if he doesn't, then we move to plan B, which is considerably less subtle." His phone buzzed. He glanced at it, expression darkening. "Constantine's awake and talking. I need to go handle that." "What's he saying?" "Enough to confirm Daniel's involvement, enough to link Marcus to the Kozlovs. But," Alexei paused, "he's claiming there's someone higher up, Someone we haven't identified yet. Someone inside the Volkov organization who's been feeding the Kozlovs information for years. Another traitor, maybe more than one. Who? That's what I'm about to find out. He moved toward the door, then stopped. The laptop stays with you. If Marcus responds, don't engage without me. Just take screenshots and wait. Understood? Understood. He left, taking two of the guards with him. I sat there staring at the closed laptop, my heart pounding. What was I doing? Playing spy games with actual criminals, setting traps, lying, manipulating. A week ago, I'd been worried about making rent. Now I was plotting revenge against the man who'd fired me while my fated mate lay dying, and my dead ex worked with Russian mobsters to kidnap my son. My life had become a nightmare. Or maybe, the thought crept in, unbidden, maybe this was what it felt like to stop being a victim. The laptop chimed. I stared at it, my hands shaking as I reached to open it. Marcus had responded. Elias. Jesus Christ. I heard about the shooting but didn't know you were there. Are you okay? He sounded concerned, almost genuine. I remembered Alexei's words. Make him feel powerful. I'm alive. Barely. They're keeping us in some family suite, but there are guards everywhere and I can't leave, and Noah's so scared, and I don't know what to do. You need to get out of there. Those people are animals. I tried to warn you. I know, you were right. I should have listened. I forced myself to type the next part. Can you help us? Is there somewhere safe we could go? Somewhere Alexei wouldn't find us? A pause, longer than before. Then, maybe. But you'd have to trust me. Completely. Can you do that? No, never. Not in a million years. Yes, I'm desperate. Please. There's a service exit on the 3rd floor. East wing. It's usually unmanned between shift changes at 3 a.m. If you could get there, a trap. Obviously a trap, but maybe a trap I could use. The guards won't let me leave. Then you'll have to sneak past them. Noah too. I know it's risky, but I'll try. Tonight? Tonight. 3 a.m. I'll have a car waiting. We'll get you somewhere safe, and then we can figure out how to handle the Volkov situation. Handle. Like Damien was a problem to be solved, not a person fighting for his life. Thank you. Thank you so much. I won't forget this. Just be careful. If they catch you trying to leave, he didn't finish the thought. I closed the laptop and took screenshots like Alexei had instructed. Then I sat back thinking. Marcus wanted me at that service exit at 3 a.m., which meant the Kozlovs would be waiting. They'd grab us, use us as leverage against Damien, and probably kill us the moment we stopped being useful. Unless we got to them first. Through the window, I watched Damien's chest rise and fall. His hand had fallen back to his side, no longer reaching. But I'd seen his eyes open, seen him recognize my presence despite the one-way glass. He was coming back, fighting his way back, for us. The least I could do was give him an enemy gift wrapped when he woke up. I pulled out the tablet again, searched for the hospital's floor plans, found the east wing, 3rd floor, service exit, perfect location for an ambush. Isolated, away from main corridors, easy to control. They thought they were setting a trap for me. They had no idea I was about to set one for them. I must have dozed off on the couch because I woke to someone shaking my good shoulder gently. Easy, Alexei's voice. It's just me. I blinked up at him, disoriented. The lights were dimmed. Through the window, Damien's room glowed with monitor lights. What time is it? Just after midnight. He held up his phone, showing the screenshots I'd taken. Marcus took the bait. He wants me at a service exit at 3 a.m. I know. I've already reviewed the footage. 3 Kozlov operatives arrived at the hospital 2 hours ago. They're positioned near that exit now, waiting. His smile was predatory. They think they're hunters. They're about to find out their prey. What's the plan? You're not going anywhere near that exit. Yes, I am. I sat up despite my shoulder's protest. If I don't show up, they'll know something's wrong. They'll scatter, and we'll lose our chance to... To what? Get yourself killed? His voice hardened. Damien would never forgive me if I let you walk into danger. Damien isn't awake to have an opinion. The words came out sharper than I intended. And I'm not asking permission. I'm telling you, I'm going to be there. Because Marcus needs to see me, needs to believe I'm vulnerable and desperate. Otherwise, this whole thing falls apart. You're injured, so put me in a wheelchair. Make it look like I can barely move. Make me look weak. I met his eyes. That's what they expect, right? Broken Omega running away with her son? Give them exactly that. Alexei studied me for a long moment. You're serious. Completely. Damien is going to kill me. Only if something goes wrong. Something always goes wrong. But he was already pulling out his phone, making calls in rapid Russian. Fine, but you wear a wire, you stay in the wheelchair, and the instant, anything feels off, you get down and let my men handle it. Agreed. And Noah stays here, with guards. Non-negotiable. That one hurt, but he was right. Noah had seen enough violence. Okay. Alexei made 3 more calls, then turned back to me. We have 2 hours to prepare. Konstantin confirmed the leak. It's someone in our financial division. Someone who's been with the family for 15 years. We're pulling records now. His expression darkened. But that's not the worst part. What's the worst part? Konstantin says Daniel isn't just working for the Kozlovs. Alexei paused, choosing words carefully. He's related to them. Distant cousin, which means this isn't just about money or leverage. It's personal, I finished. Very. The Kozlovs have been trying to destroy the Volkov family for 3 generations. And Daniel, his jaw clenched. Daniel was placed at Silvercrest 5 years ago, before you even worked there. This entire thing, your hiring, your firing, you meeting Damien, it was orchestrated from the start. The room tilted. I was bait. From the beginning. Yes. And you're just telling me this now? I needed confirmation first. Needed to be sure. His eyes held something like apology. But yes, you were always the trap. The question is, he leaned forward, do we spring it on our terms or theirs? Through the window, I saw Damien's hand twitch again, reaching for something he couldn't grasp. I thought about Daniel's voice on the phone, about Marcus's fake concern, about 5 years of manipulation and lies, all building to this moment. They'd made me a weapon to destroy Damien. Time to show them what happened when weapons learn to choose their own targets. Our terms, I said. We end this tonight. All of it. Alexei's smile was fierce. Now you're talking like a Volkov. Say that again, I demanded. All of it. From the beginning. Alexei settled into the chair across from me, his expression grave. 5 years ago, Daniel Frost was placed at Silvercrest Logistics. Not hired, placed. The Kozlovs own a shell corporation that controls the hiring department. They made sure he got the position. Made sure he had access to our financial records, shipping manifests, everything. But I didn't work there 5 years ago. I started 3 years ago. Yes. His eyes held mine. After Daniel disappeared. After he supposedly died. That timing wasn't coincidence either. My stomach turned. They waited for me to be desperate, alone, vulnerable. Exactly. Single Omega parent, no support system, no options. When Silvercrest posted the night shift position, you applied within hours. They made sure you got hired, made sure you were assigned to Marcus's department. Alexei's voice was clinical, detached. They've been watching you ever since, waiting for the right moment. The moment when Damien would be in the city, when he'd be vulnerable, when he'd be alone in an alley, bleeding. Alexei leaned forward. That wasn't random either. The attack on Damien that night, it was staged. The men who jumped him were Kozlov soldiers. They were supposed to kill him, but Damien's harder to kill than they anticipated. So I walked into their trap, helped him, got his attention, and became exactly what they needed, the weakness they could exploit. An Omega with a child, vulnerable, desperate, someone Damien would want to protect. His expression softened fractionally. What they didn't count on was the bond. The fated mate connection. That was real. That changed everything. I thought about that first night, Damien's eyes meeting mine in the rain, the electric feeling when our skin touched. They wanted to use me to destroy him, I said slowly. But instead you became his reason to fight harder, to be more ruthless, More dangerous than he's ever been. Alexei smiled coldly. They created their own worst nightmare. And now they're trying to fix their mistake by taking me out of the equation. Exactly, but his phone buzzed. He glanced at it, expression darkening. We have a problem. What kind of problem? The kind where Daniel just sent Marcus new orders? They're not planning to take you at the service exit anymore. What? But the message was bait within bait. They wanted us to prepare for one location so they could hit another. He stood, already moving. They're coming here, to this suite, in 15 minutes. My blood went cold. Noah is already being moved, trust me. He pulled open the door, barking orders to the guards. We're evacuating now. Damien too. Everything moves. He's not stable enough. He's dead if he stays here. They're planning to finish what Constantine started. Alexei grabbed my good arm, pulling me up. Can you walk? Yes, but then walk. Fast. We have one window and it's closing. Chaos erupted. Medical staff I'd never seen before rushed into Damien's room. Alexei's people had to be. Disconnecting monitors, transferring equipment to portable units. Damien's bed started rolling toward the door, tubes and wires trailing like tentacles. Through it all, he remained unconscious, unaware, dying by increments while people fought wars over his life. Mama! Noah appeared with Anton, who was carrying him like a football. What's happening? We're leaving, baby. It's okay. Anton's going to keep you safe. What about you? I'm right behind you, I promise. Anton nodded once, a soldier's acknowledgement, and disappeared down the hallway with my son. Guards surrounded me, 6 of them, all armed, forming a moving box of protection. Stay in the center, Alexei ordered. Don't stop. Don't look back. Just move. We moved, down the hallway, past empty patient rooms. The elevator doors opened before we reached them. Someone had been holding it ready. We crowded in. Damien's hospital bed barely fit, tilted at an angle, machines beeping frantically as they adjusted to movement. I found myself pressed against his side, my good hand finding his. His fingers twitched, wrapped around mine. Even unconscious, even dying, he was fighting to hold on. I'm here, I whispered. I'm not leaving you. The elevator descended, 1 floor, 2, 3. It stopped on the ground level. The doors opened onto the parking garage and into absolute hell. Gunfire exploded before we cleared the elevator. Bullets sparked off metal. Someone screamed. One of the guards went down, blood blooming across his chest. Move! Alexei shoved Damien's bed forward, using it as a battering ram. More gunfire. So loud it felt like my skull would crack. I ducked, covering my head, and felt hands grab me. Mikhail, pulling me behind a concrete pillar. Through the chaos, I caught glimpses. Men in dark clothes, military precision, at least a dozen of them. The Kozlovs had brought an army. West exit! Alexei's voice cut through the gunfire. Fall back to west exit. We retreated, guards firing behind us, buying seconds with their lives. Damien's bed crashed through a door. I ran after it, my shoulder agony, my lungs burning. Behind us, the gunfire intensified. They're trying to cut us off, someone shouted. Then we go through them. Alexei's voice was ice cold, deadly calm. We burst into a secondary garage area. 3 armored vehicles waited, engines running. Anton was already there with Noah, strapping him into the middle vehicle. Get them in, Alexei barked. Damien in the lead vehicle, Elias and the boy in the second. Medical team with Damien. Move! Hands pushed me toward the second vehicle. I tried to resist. I needed to be with Damien. But Mikhail literally picked me up and deposited me in the back seat. Noah crashed into me, crying, terrified. It's okay, baby. It's okay. The vehicle lurched forward before my door even closed. Tires screamed. The smell of burnt rubber filled the air. Through the rear window, I saw the third vehicle explode. Just exploded. Orange fireball. Metal fragments raining down. They have rockets, the driver said flatly. Hold on. We accelerated hard enough to slam me back against the seat. Noah's scream cut off as he ran out of air. Another explosion. Closer this time. The vehicle rocked but kept moving. Status on Vehicle 1? The driver demanded into his radio. Static. Then Alexi's voice. Clear. Damien's stable. Keep moving. Thank God, thank God. Where are we going? I managed. The fortress, Mikhail said from the passenger seat. Mr. Volkov's private compound. 20 miles north. If we make it there? When we make it there, the driver corrected. Another explosion. This one hit a building to our left. Civilian building, apartments. People lived there. Families, children. The Kozlovs were willing to kill anyone to get to us. They're escalating, I whispered. They're desperate, Mikhail corrected. Desperate people make mistakes. The vehicle ahead of us, Damien's vehicle, suddenly swerved hard right. What's? The road ahead exploded. A crater the size of a car appeared where we would have been. Ambush! The driver shouted, throwing us into reverse. But behind us another vehicle appeared. Black SUV, windows down. Men with guns. Down! Mikhail roared. I threw myself over Noah as bullets shattered the rear window. Safety glass showered over us. The vehicle lurched sideways, tires blown. We crashed into something. A wall, maybe. Everything went sideways. Then silence. Terrible, ringing silence. Elias? Mikhail's voice distant. Can you move? Could I? My whole body felt wrong. Disconnected. But Noah was under me. Crying but alive. I'm okay, Noah. I'm okay, Mama. Scared but okay. Hands pulled us from the wreckage. Alexi's face appeared, covered in soot and blood. They're coming. We need to move. Now. Damien. 200 yards ahead. Safe. But we're separated and they know it. He grabbed my arm. Can you run? Yes. Then run. Mikhail, take point. I've got rear. We ran. Through smoke and fire. Over debris. Past burning vehicles and bodies I tried not to look at. People had died tonight because of me. Because I'd gotten involved with Damien. Because I'd become this war's focal point. Behind us, footsteps, shouting in Russian. Faster, Alexei urged. Noah was too heavy. My injured shoulder couldn't take his weight. I was slowing us down. Take him, I gasped to Mikhail. I can't. No! Noah clung tighter. Don't leave me. I'm not leaving you, baby. I'm right here. A figure stepped out of the smoke ahead. Tall, familiar silhouette, hands raised in surrender. Marcus. Elias. He looked terrified. Thank God, I can help. I can get you out of this. Shoot him, Alexei said calmly. Wait. Marcus stumbled back. I can give you information. About the Kozlovs. About their plans. Just don't. You set up an Omega and her child to be murdered, Alexei said. Why would I negotiate with you? Because I know where Daniel is. Marcus's eyes locked on mine. Right now, this minute, I can take you to him. Everything stopped. Daniel, Noah's father, the man orchestrating this nightmare. You're lying, I said. I'm not. Marcus glanced behind him, nervous. He's 3 blocks from here, watching, waiting to see if the Kozlovs succeed. If you come with me, I can. The bullet took him in the chest before he finished. He looked down, surprised at the blood blooming across his shirt. Then he fell. Alexei lowered his gun. I don't negotiate with traitors. He knew where Daniel was. He was stalling, buying time for reinforcements. Alexei grabbed my arm again. We need to. Elias. That voice. I knew that voice. I turned and saw Daniel step out of the smoke, hands in his pockets, smiling like this was all some grand joke. Miss me, baby? He tilted his head. Because I've missed you, both of you. His eyes landed on Noah, and my son, my brave, terrified son, looked at the stranger who was his father and whispered, Mama, why does he look like me? Because he did. God, he did. The same eyes, the same chin, the genetic echo I'd tried not to see for 4 years. Daniel's smile widened. Hello, son. Want to come meet your daddy? Alexei's gun came up, but Daniel moved faster, pulling his own weapon, aiming it not at us, but at the vehicle ahead, at Damien's vehicle. Drop it, or I put a bullet through your nephew's breathing tube, he said pleasantly. Your choice, Alexei. The gun lowered, and Daniel's smile became something horrible. Smart man. Now, his eyes found mine. You and I are going to have a little chat about the future, about my son, about what happens next. I'm not going anywhere with you. Oh, I think you will. Because if you don't, he gestured and a dozen armed men emerged from the smoke, all aiming at Damien's vehicle. Your precious Mafia King dies, along with everyone protecting him. He had us trapped, completely trapped. Noah whimpered against me. Alexei's jaw was clenched so tight I thought it might shatter. And Daniel just smiled, holding all the cards, knowing he'd won. So what's it going to be, Elias? Come with me voluntarily, or watch everyone you love die? Time fractured. I stood there. Noah clinging to me, Alexei frozen beside me, Marcus bleeding out on the pavement, and watched Daniel aim his gun at the vehicle holding Damien. 10 seconds, Daniel said pleasantly. Then I start shooting. Your choice. Baby. My mind raced through options. All of them ended in blood. If I refused, Damien died. The medical team died. Everyone died. If I agreed, Daniel had leverage, complete control. He could demand anything, and we'd have no choice but to comply. Either way, we lost. Unless, okay, the word tore out of me. Okay, I'll come with you. Just don't hurt anyone else. Elias, no, Alexei started. It's done. I looked at him, trying to communicate everything I couldn't say aloud. Trust me, I have a plan. Don't let Noah see what comes next. Take Noah, keep him safe. Mama! Noah's grip tightened, terrified. Baby, I need you to go with Alexei. Can you be brave for me? I don't want to. I know, but I need you safe. And Damien needs you safe. Can you do that? For both of us? His eyes filled with tears, but he nodded. Mikhail gently pried Noah from my arms. My son reached for me, crying, and it took everything I had not to grab him back. Don't hurt him, I said to Daniel, my voice cold. Whatever you want from me, you can have. But if you touch Noah, relax, I'm not a monster. Daniel lowered his gun slightly. He's my son. I'm not going to hurt him. I just want... He paused, something flickering across his face. I want to know him. Is that so terrible? You abandoned him. I made a choice. Survival over sentiment. But things are different now. His eyes tracked Noah as Mikhail carried him toward the second vehicle. He looks healthy. You've done well. The casual approval made rage flood through me. Don't you dare! Don't you dare act like you have any right to... I have every right. I'm his father. Daniel's voice hardened. Biology doesn't lie. Elias, that's my DNA in his veins. My eyes looking out of his face. Mine. You're nothing to him. Yet, he smiled. But we'll fix that. Once we're somewhere safe, somewhere the Volkovs can't interfere, we'll have time. I'll teach him things. About his heritage. About the family he comes from. The Kozlov family, criminals and murderers. Says the Omega living with a Mafia Kingpin? He laughed. The hypocrisy is stunning. Behind me, I heard Damien's vehicle start up. Heard tires on pavement. Alexei was getting everyone out. Getting Noah away from this nightmare. Good. So what now? I asked Daniel. You take me hostage? Use me as leverage against Damien? Nothing so crude. He gestured and two of his men moved forward. You and I are going to have a conversation about the future. About what the Kozlov family is willing to offer you. Because trust me, it's more than the Volkovs ever could. I'm not interested in... You haven't heard the offer yet. His gun came back up, pointed casually at my head. And before you try anything heroic, remember, I have snipers on 3 rooftops. If I go down, they have orders to shoot anything that moves, including that vehicle carrying your son. Checkmate. I let his men take my arms. Let them search me for weapons I didn't have. Let them find the wire Alexei had attached under my shirt and rip it free. Daniel examined the wire with amusement. Alexei's work? He's getting sloppy in his old age. Time was he'd have used subcutaneous implants. Harder to find, harder to remove. He crushed the wire under his heel. Now, walk. The car's this way. They marched me through the smoke and debris, past burning wreckage, past bodies, some in Volkov colors, some in Kozlov black. So much death, so much destruction, all because I'd helped a stranger in an alley. Where are we going? I asked. Somewhere we can talk without interruption. Daniel opened the door of a nondescript sedan. After you. I got in because I had no choice. Because Noah was safe, or safer than he'd been. And because some part of me needed to understand. Needed to know why Daniel had done all this. He slid in beside me, gun resting casually on his thigh. The driver pulled away from the carnage, heading deeper into the city. "You look good," Daniel said conversationally. "Better than you did when I left. The Volkovs have been treating you well. Until they started shooting at me. That was never the plan. The plan was simple. You become Damien's weakness. We exploit it. The Volkovs collapse from internal pressure." He shrugged. "But then you had to go and actually matter to him. Had to trigger some fated mate nonsense. That complicated things. You don't believe in fated mates? I believe in chemistry, pheromones, biological compatibility creating the illusion of destiny." His eyes traced my face. "We had that once, remember? That first night at the bar. You couldn't keep your hands off me." I remembered. God, I remembered. Young and stupid and desperate for connection. "That wasn't fate," I said quietly. "That was loneliness." "Maybe, but you got pregnant, had my son, built a life around him." Daniel's voice softened slightly. "That counts for something. You left me. I had to. The Kozlovs made it clear. Disappear or die. I chose survival. Can you blame me?" "Yes, I can blame you for a lot of things." The car turned down a side street, pulled into an underground parking garage, stopped in front of an elevator. "Out," Daniel ordered. We rode the elevator up. Top floor, penthouse level, of course. Criminals and their penthouses. The doors opened onto a space that made Damien's look modest. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Artwork that was probably worth millions. Furniture that whispered old money. And standing by those windows looking out at the city was a man I'd only seen in photographs. Dmitry Kozlov, patriarch of the Kozlov family, the man who'd orchestrated everything. He turned and I saw Damien in his features, the same sharp cheekbones, the same predatory grace. They were related, distantly maybe, but the bloodline was clear. Elias Kane. His voice was cultured, European. "Thank you for joining us. I didn't have much choice. We always have choices." He moved closer, studying me like I was a specimen. "My nephew seems quite taken with you. Even now, dying in a vehicle somewhere in this city, his last thoughts are probably of you. Touching, really. He's not dying. Not yet. But without proper medical care." Dmitry smiled. "Time has a way of deciding these things." Rage flooded through me, hot and vicious. "What do you want?" "Simple. Leave Damien Volkov. Take your son. Disappear." He gestured at the opulent room. "We'll provide everything. New identity, unlimited funds, protection from the Volkovs. You and your boy can have a life, a real life. All you have to do is walk away. And if I refuse, then Daniel takes custody of Noah. You never see your son again, and we send Damien Volkov's body back to Alexei piece by piece." His eyes were cold. "Those are your options. Choose wisely." My hands clenched into fists. This was never about business. This is personal. Everything is personal when it comes to the Volkovs. They killed my brother 20 years ago. Killed my cousins. Systematically destroyed my family's operations. His voice hardened. Damien is the last of their direct line. When he dies, the Volkov empire dies with him. Unless, he smiled, unless he has an heir. Understanding crashed through me. "You think I'm pregnant? I know you're not yet. But fated mates." Dmitry shrugged. "The bond is powerful. Biological imperatives become overwhelming. It's only a matter of time before you carry his child. And that child," his eyes gleamed, "that child would be leverage, control, the future of the Volkov family under Kozlov influence." "You're insane. I'm practical." He pulled out his phone, showing me a video. Damien's vehicle, surrounded by armed men. "One word from me," Dmitry said quietly, "and they execute everyone in that vehicle, including the medical team keeping your mate alive. He'll hunt you. If you kill him, Alexei will never stop. Alexei is one man. The Kozlov family is vast. We have resources, connections, power the Volkovs can't match. He moved closer, and I caught his scent. Alpha, but wrong. Cold. So I'll ask again, Elias Kane. What do you choose? Your son's future or a dying man's past? I looked at that video, at Damien's vehicle, at the guns trained on the people trying to save him. I thought about Noah, safe with Alexei, about the promise I'd made to keep him safe no matter what. I thought about Damien's voice in the darkness. You're mine, and I'm yours. That means we don't give up. Ever. I choose. I met Dimitri's eyes. Option 3. There is no option 3. There is now. I grabbed Daniel's gun from his holster. He'd gotten sloppy, standing too close, and fired 3 shots through the window. Not at Dimitri, not at Daniel, at the window itself. Bulletproof glass. It didn't shatter, but it cracked, and that crack was a signal. What did you... Dimitri started. The building shook. Explosions from below. Multiple floors. Synchronized. Alexei had been tracking us the whole time, and I just told him exactly where we were. You think you're the only one who plans? I said, still holding the gun. You think Alexei Volkov would let me walk into this without backup? Dimitri's face went white. The subcutaneous implant. You're transmitting. Have been since your men grabbed me. I smiled, cold and fierce. Everything you said, everything you planned. Alexei heard all of it. Daniel lunged for me. I fired. Not to kill. I couldn't. He was still Noah's father. But his leg. He went down screaming. The doors exploded inward. Volkov soldiers poured through, weapons drawn. And at the front, moving with lethal purpose despite his injuries was... No, it couldn't be. But it was. Damien. Pale. Shaking. Barely able to stand. Still hooked to portable medical equipment, but conscious, awake, and absolutely murderous. His eyes found mine across the room. You're mine, he said, voice rough. Did you forget? Never. My voice broke. I was buying time. I know. He moved toward me, each step clearly agony. But next time, he reached me, his hand cupping my face. Next time, you don't leave my sight. Understand? You're supposed to be dying. I was. Then Alexei told me you'd been taken. His thumb traced my cheekbone. Turns out spite is excellent motivation. Behind him, Volkov soldiers were subduing Dimitri, securing Daniel, taking control of the entire floor. How? Alexei put a tracker in your shoulder, in the wound. Damien's smile was cold. Subdermal, undetectable. You've been broadcasting your location since the hospital. You used me as bait. You used yourself as bait. I just made sure we could find you after. He swayed slightly and I caught him. Now can we please go home? I'm about 2 minutes from passing out. You shouldn't even be standing. I'll rest when my family's safe, not before. His eyes held mine. Never before. Alexei appeared. Building secure. Dmitri Kozlov is in custody. Daniel's wounded but stable. The Kozlov operation in this city is finished. Good. Damien's knees buckled. I caught him, barely, screaming for the medical team. They rushed over, stabilizing him, getting him back on the stretcher. Elias! His hand found mine. Don't leave. I'm not going anywhere. I held tight. You're mine too, remember? That means I don't give up either. His eyes closed, but he was smiling. His hand went slack in mine. Damien! Panic seized my throat. Damien, stay with me. He's crashing. One of the medics pushed me aside, hands already moving over equipment. Get the defibrillator ready. No. Alexei's voice cut through the chaos. No shocks. His chest can't take it. Epinephrine. Now. They moved with synchronized efficiency, injecting, monitoring, adjusting oxygen flow. I stood there useless, my hands still warm from where Damien's had been. This was my fault. He'd forced himself out of bed to save me, had pushed his broken body past all reasonable limits because I'd been taken. He's stabilizing, the medic announced, but we need to move, now. The fortress has a full surgical suite. If we can get him there, then get him there. Alexei was already coordinating, barking orders into his phone. Clear the route. I want every side street monitored. No surprises. They wheeled Damien toward the elevator. I moved to follow, But Alexei caught my arm. You ride in the second vehicle with Noah. I need to be with... You need to be with your son. He's been through hell, watched his mother get taken, and he needs to see you alive. His grip tightened slightly. Damien's in good hands. Noah needs you more right now. He was right. God, he was right. I looked back at Damien's unconscious form disappearing into the elevator, then nodded. Where is he? Secure location 3 blocks from here. We split up the targets, made it harder for the Kozlovs to track everyone. Alexei guided me toward a second elevator. He's safe, terrified but safe. The ride down felt endless. I watched the floor numbers descend, my mind replaying everything. Daniel's gun, Dimitri's offer, Damien appearing like death itself, held together by pure will and spite. The doors opened onto the parking garage. Noah's voice reached me before I saw him. Mama! He broke free from Anton's grip and ran toward me, crashing into my legs hard enough to make me stumble. I'm here, baby. I'm okay. I dropped to my knees, pulling him close with both arms, despite my shoulders screaming protest. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You left... His voice was muffled against my neck. You left with the bad man, and I thought... I know, but I'm back, and we're safe now. I pulled back to look at his face. Did Anton take good care of you? Noah nodded, wiping his eyes. He let me sit in the front seat, and he showed me his gun, and... His voice dropped to a whisper. He said the bad man was my daddy. Is that true? My heart cracked. Biologically, yes, but... How did you explain this to a 4-year-old? But being a daddy is more than biology. It's about being there, caring, loving you. And Daniel, he wasn't those things. Does he want to be now? I thought about Daniel's words, about wanting to know Noah, about teaching him things. I don't know what he wants, baby, but I know what I want. I want you safe and happy, and nowhere near people who use guns and threats. Like Damien? The question stopped me cold. Damien is... I struggled for words. Damien is complicated, but he's never threatened you, never used you as leverage. He protected us. That's the difference. Is he going to be my new daddy? Was he? What were we to each other, really? Fated mates sounded romantic until you were explaining it to a preschooler. I don't know yet, but he cares about us. A lot. Okay. Noah seemed satisfied with that answer. Can we see him? Soon. He's hurt right now, so the doctors are helping him. But soon, Alexei appeared. Vehicles are ready. We move in convoy. 3 cars, full security. Damien's already en route to the fortress. We'll meet him there. The fortress was exactly what it sounded like. Stone walls, guard towers, gates that looked like they could withstand a tank assault. Welcome to Volkov Ancestral Home, Alexei said as we drove through. Built in 1887 by Damien's great-great-grandfather. Renovated extensively, obviously, but the bones are original. It looked like a castle, an actual castle, transplanted from Eastern Europe and dropped in the middle of nowhere. Noah pressed his face to the window, eyes wide. We get to live here? For now, until the threat is neutralized completely. Alexei glanced at me. Which might take some time. The Kozlovs have deep roots. Dimitri's capture will cause chaos, but his organization won't collapse overnight. What about Daniel? In custody, medical wing, under guard. His expression was unreadable. Damien will decide what to do with him when he's recovered. He's Noah's father. He's a traitor who tried to have you killed. Biology doesn't change that. Alexei's voice was hard, but Damien understands complicated family dynamics better than anyone. He'll make the call. The vehicle stopped in front of massive wooden doors. Staff appeared, actual staff, in uniforms like something from a historical drama. They opened doors, retrieved bags, moved with practiced efficiency. This way. Alexei led us inside. The interior was stunning. Old-world elegance mixed with modern security, marble floors, tapestries on walls, and cameras in every corner, discreet but visible if you knew to look. Family wing is on the 3rd floor, Alexei explained. You and Noah will have a suite. Damien's rooms are connected. There's a door, but it locks from your side. Privacy when you want it, Access when you need it. Where is he now? Surgery. The trip here caused additional internal bleeding. They're fixing it. He saw my expression. He'll survive. My nephew's too stubborn to die, but recovery will be longer than anticipated. Noah tugged on my hand. I'm hungry. Right. When had we last eaten? The hospital? That felt like years ago. Kitchen's prepared food, Alexei said. I'll have it brought up, unless, he paused, unless you'd like to eat in the family dining room. With me? It was an olive branch, an invitation. Noah? Can I have dinosaur chicken nuggets? I'll make sure we have them. Alexei's lips twitched. Among other options. Dinner was surreal, sitting at a table that could seat 20, just the three of us. Noah happily eating his nuggets, Alexei discussing security protocols like we were talking about weather, and me trying to process everything that had happened in the last 12 hours. You used me as bait, I said suddenly. The tracker in my shoulder. You knew they'd take me. I suspected they might try, so I prepared. Alexei met my eyes. Does that bother you? I don't know, should it? Probably. Using people as assets tends to bother them. He paused. But you did the same thing to yourself. You walked into that meeting knowing you'd be taken, knowing we'd follow. You played the game, Elias. You can't be angry that I stacked the deck in our favor. He was right. I had used myself as bait, had made the choice to walk into danger. I'm not angry, I realized. I'm just tired, so tired of being afraid, of looking over my shoulder, of wondering when the next attack is coming. It won't be soon. Dmitri's capture creates a power vacuum. The Kozlov organization will turn inward, fighting over succession. That gives us time. He leaned back. Time to heal, to plan, to build defenses they can't penetrate. And then what? We live here forever, behind walls and guards, until Damien decides otherwise. Alexei's expression was unreadable. He's the head of the family. Once he's recovered, he'll determine next steps. But, he glanced at Noah, who was focused on his food. Between us, I think he'll want you and the boy close. Permanently close. You mean? I mean marriage, formal bonds. Making you part of the family in every legal and traditional sense. His eyes held mine. Are you prepared for that? Marriage to Damien Volkov, the Mafia King. A man I'd known for less than a week. A man who'd taken bullets for me. Who'd risen from his deathbed to save me. Who looked at me like I was his entire world. I don't know, I admitted. A week ago, I was worried about making rent. Now I gestured at the opulent dining room. Now I'm here. Everything's moving so fast. That's how the bond works. Fast, overwhelming, inevitable. Alexei stood. But you'll have time to adjust. Damien won't push while he's recovering. Though, his lips quirked. Fair warning. Once he's mobile again, he'll be insufferable about claiming you properly. Heat flooded my face. We haven't. I know. The bond is unconsummated, which frankly, is driving him insane. Alpha instincts are powerful, and every moment he can't claim his mate, Alexei shook his head. Just be prepared. When he's recovered, he'll want you. Constantly, intensely. It's biological imperative. Can we not discuss this in front of my son? He's 4. He's not listening. But Alexei changed topics anyway. Your suite is ready. I'll have staff show you up. Damien should be out of surgery within the hour. You can see him then, if you'd like. I would. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. His expression turned serious. Tomorrow we discuss Daniel. What to do with him. Noah's claim to the Kozlov name. The legal ramifications of everything that's happened. Tonight, he gestured. Tonight, rest. Be with your son. Let yourself breathe. The suite was beautiful. 2 bedrooms connected by a living area. Windows overlooking gardens I could barely see in the darkness. Furniture that whispered money without screaming it. And a door. Plain, simple, with a lock on my side. Behind that door was Damien's room. I stood there staring at it, while Noah explored his new bedroom with cautious excitement. Mama, he called, there's a toy chest with actual toys. That's wonderful, baby. But I kept staring at that door. Somewhere beyond it, Damien was in surgery, fighting to survive, fighting to come back to me. My hand reached for the doorknob, locked from the other side. Of course, he wasn't there yet. I pulled my hand back, feeling foolish. Mama, can you help me with the truck? Coming, sweetheart. I turned away from the door, but I felt its pull. The knowledge that soon, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, Damien would be on the other side. And I'd have to decide if I was ready for what came next, for the claiming, the bond, the life Alexei had described, for becoming not just Elias Kane, single Omega trying to survive, but Elias Volkov, the Mafia King's mate. The thought should have terrified me. Instead, as I helped Noah build a tower with his new toys, I felt something else, anticipation, and maybe, just maybe, desire. I woke to the sound of a door opening. Not my door, the connecting door. I sat up in bed, heart pounding, and watched as light spilled through from the other side. A figure appeared in the doorway. Damien, still pale, still moving carefully, but upright, conscious, alive. You're supposed to be resting, I whispered. I am resting, just doing it here. He moved into my room, each step measured. Couldn't sleep without knowing you were close. The surgery, successful, exhausting, painful. He reached the edge of my bed. Worth it to see you safe. I should tell him to go back to bed. Should insist he needed proper rest. Instead, I pulled back the covers. Get in before you fall down. He didn't argue, just carefully lowered himself onto the mattress, exhaling in relief as the weight came off his legs. We lay there in the darkness, not touching, barely breathing. I thought you were going to die, I said finally, in that penthouse, in the vehicle, during surgery. I kept thinking, this is it. This is when I lose him. I'm harder to kill than that. His hand found mine between us. And I had reasons to fight. Revenge? You. Simple. Absolute. You and Noah. The life I could see forming. The future. His thumb traced circles on my palm. I've spent 15 years building power, eliminating enemies, consolidating control. And for what? An empire with no one to share it with. No one who mattered. And now I have you, have Noah, have something worth protecting beyond territory and money. He turned his head to look at me. That terrifies me more than any bullet ever has. Why? Because I can survive being shot, can recover from betrayal, can rebuild from destruction. But losing you, his voice cracked, that would destroy me in ways no enemy ever could. I rolled onto my side, facing him fully. You're not going to lose me. You say that now, but this life, it's dangerous, complicated, full of violence and choices no one should have to make. His eyes held mine. I watched you break that woman's nose. Saw you shoot Daniel without hesitation. You've changed in less than a week. What happens when you realize what I've turned you into? What if I was always this person, I asked. What if survival just required me to be soft? And now, I reached up, touching his face. Now I have the strength to be exactly who I am? And who are you? Yours? The word came out steady. Sure. I'm yours, Damien Volkov. Fated mate, partner, mother of your... I stopped. Of my what? I was going to say future children, but that's... We haven't even... I don't know if you want... He kissed me. Soft, gentle. Nothing like the desperate kiss in the hallway that felt like years ago. This was a promise, a claiming, a beginning. I want everything, he whispered against my lips. Every moment, every argument, every mundane breakfast and terrifying crisis. I want Noah calling me dad. I want more children who have your eyes. I want 50 years of this, of you beside me, making me better than I deserve to be. That's a long time. Not long enough. He kissed me again. Never long enough. My hand slid to his chest, feeling his heartbeat. You're still recovering. We shouldn't. We won't. Not tonight. Not until I can do it properly. His smile was wicked despite the exhaustion. But soon, very soon, I'm going to claim you in every way that matters. Mark you, bond you, Make sure the entire world knows you're mine. Heat flooded through me. Possessive. Completely. Is that a problem? No, I admitted. It should be. But no. We lay there, breathing together, hearts beating in sync. What happens now, I asked. Now we heal, build our life, deal with the fallout. He paused. And we decide what to do about Daniel. He's Noah's father, biologically, but that's where it ends. Damien's voice was hard. He tried to have you killed, used his own son as leverage. That's not forgivable. What are my options? Alexei wants him dead. Quick, clean. Problem solved. His thumb traced my cheekbone. I want whatever you want. If you say he lives, he lives. If you say he dies, I'll pull the trigger myself. The power in that statement was staggering. Life or death. My choice. My word as law. I don't want Noah to grow up knowing I had his biological father killed. Even though that father tried to destroy us, especially because of that, I met his eyes. I want Noah to see that we're different, that we don't kill just because we can, that there are lines we won't cross. There are lines I will cross, for you, for him, without hesitation. I know, but this, I struggled for words. Let this be the line. Let Daniel live. In prison, far away, no contact with Noah, but alive. Damien was quiet for a long moment. All right, he said finally. Daniel lives. For you. For Noah. His jaw tightened. But if he ever comes near either of you again, that mercy ends. Understood? Understood. Good. He kissed my forehead. Now sleep. You're exhausted. So are you. Then we'll be exhausted together. I curled into his side, careful of his injuries, and felt his arm come around me. This was insane. Everything about this was insane. But lying there in the darkness, listening to his heartbeat, feeling safe for the first time in days, it felt like home. Have you ever fought for something everyone said was impossible? Tell me, would you have given Daniel mercy, or would you have chosen revenge? Morning came too soon. Sunlight streamed through windows I hadn't bothered to close. Noah's voice echoed from somewhere in the suite. He'd found the staff, apparently, and was interrogating them about breakfast options. Damien was still asleep beside me, his breathing deep and even. I watched him for a moment. This dangerous man who'd changed my life, who'd given me everything and asked for nothing except my presence. My mate. The bond between us wasn't complete, wouldn't be until we consummated it properly, but I could feel it there, growing, strengthening, an invisible thread connecting us. You're staring. His eyes opened, finding mine immediately. You're supposed to be resting. I am resting, he smiled. Just with my eyes open now. How do you feel? Like I got shot twice and had surgery while technically dead. He shifted carefully. But better, stronger, healing. Damien! Mama! Noah burst through the door. There's a whole room just for... He stopped, seeing Damien in my bed. Oh, hi. Good morning, Noah. Damien didn't move, didn't explain, just accepted the situation. Sleep well? Yeah, my new bed is really big. Noah climbed onto the bed between us, completely at ease. Are you feeling better? Much better, thanks to your mama's good care. She's really good at taking care of people. Noah settled in, making himself comfortable. She took care of me my whole life, just us. But he looked between us. Maybe now it can be all of us? My throat tightened. Damien's hand found mine across Noah's small body. Yeah, he said quietly. All of us, if your mama agrees. Mama? Noah looked up at me with those eyes. Daniel's eyes, but filled with hope instead of manipulation. Can we stay? Forever? Forever. Such a big word for a 4-year-old. Such an enormous commitment for someone who'd been alone for so long. But looking at them, my son and my mate, I realized I'd already made the choice. Had made it the moment I helped a bleeding stranger in an alley. Had made it every moment since. Every decision that brought us here. Yes, I said. Forever. Noah cheered. Damien's smile was blinding. And somewhere in my chest, the bond hummed with satisfaction. 3 months later, the fortress had become home. Noah attended a private school 20 minutes away, driven by guards, monitored constantly, but happy, thriving. Daniel was in prison. Maximum security. No contact with Noah as I'd requested. The Kozlov family had fractured into warring factions, too busy destroying each other to threaten us. Constantine had died in custody. Quietly. No one asked questions. Marcus's body had been found in the harbor. Also quietly. Also no questions. The wounds, physical and emotional, were healing. And Damien was everywhere. In the mornings, helping Noah with breakfast. In the afternoons, teaching him chess and strategy and how to read people. In the evenings, pulling me into his study to discuss the day, to kiss me breathless, to make plans for our future. We still hadn't consummated the bond. He'd insisted on waiting until he was fully healed, until he could do it properly, as he said. But soon, very soon, I could feel it in the way he looked at me, the way his control frayed a little more each day, the way his scent changed when I was close. Tonight, Alexei was hosting a formal dinner, introducing me to the family, extended cousins, business associates, people who needed to know that Damien Volkov had claimed a mate. I stood in front of the mirror, adjusting the dress someone had laid out. Midnight blue, elegant, expensive. I looked like I belonged here. "You're beautiful." Damien appeared in the doorway, looking devastating in a tailored suit. "You're biased." "Extremely." He crossed to me, hands settling on my waist. "But also correct. Are you sure about this? About introducing me to everyone? There's still time too." "To what? Pretend you don't exist? Pretend I haven't been planning our wedding since you agreed to stay?" He turned me to face him. "I want everyone to know. Want it official. Want you wearing my ring and my name. We've only known each other 3 months, and I've loved you for all of them." He said it simply, matter-of-factly. "So unless you've changed your mind—" "I haven't." I reached up, straightening his tie. "I'm just nervous. About meeting your family. About fitting in. You broke a Kozlov operative's nose, shot your ex, survived multiple assassination attempts. You'll be fine. That's not the same as—" He kissed me. Long, deep, claiming. When he pulled back, we were both breathing hard. Still nervous? Differently nervous. His laugh was low, promising. "Tonight, after dinner, after everyone leaves." His forehead pressed to mine. "I'm going to claim you properly, bond you completely, make you mine in every way that matters. I'm already yours. Not completely. Not yet." His hands tightened on my waist. "But soon, very soon." A knock at the door. Alexei's voice. "Guests are arriving?" "Coming." Damien pulled back reluctantly. "Ready?" "With you. Always." The dinner was overwhelming. So many people. So many names and faces. Extended family from Russia, Italy, France. Business associates from a dozen countries. All of them curious about the Omega who'd captured Damien Volkov's heart. But Noah charmed them all, talking about dinosaurs and school and how Damien was teaching him chess. Being himself, innocent and bright and completely unaware of the undercurrents. And Damien never left my side, his hand on my back, his presence a constant reassurance. "They like you," he whispered during a lull. "You're doing perfectly. I haven't said much. You don't have to. They can see the bond. See how I am with you. That's enough." Alexei raised his glass. A toast. To Damien and Elias. To new beginnings. To family. "To family," everyone echoed. The words wrapped around me like a promise. This was my family now. Complicated, dangerous, powerful, mine. The guests left slowly. Noah fell asleep on the couch, exhausted from excitement. Damien carried him to bed. Our son, he'd started calling him. Our son, our family, our life. I stood by the window in our room, watching moonlight on the gardens. The door opened, closed, locked. Damien's footsteps behind me. "Elias." I turned. He stood there, jacket gone, tie loosened, looking at me like I was everything. "I love you," he said. "I should have said it sooner, but I love you. Completely." eternally, in ways that terrify me and ways that make me stronger. Tears burned my eyes. I love you too, even though you're impossible and possessive, and yours. He closed the distance between us. I'm yours, Elias, as much as you're mine. That's how this works. Then claim me. The words came out breathless. Bond me. Make it official. His eyes darkened. You're sure? Completely. Then come here, my mate. His voice dropped to a growl. And let me show you exactly what forever means. I went to him, and as he kissed me, as his hands claimed every inch of my skin, as the bond between us finally completed, I knew I was home. Not in the fortress, not in the expensive rooms or the protected walls, but here, in his arms, in his heart, where I would always belong. They said one act of kindness couldn't change everything. They were wrong. Sometimes the stranger you help in the rain becomes your entire world. Would you have stopped? Would you have helped? Tell me, do you believe in fate? Epilogue. 1 year later, Noah sat at the breakfast table, carefully drawing a card. What's that for, sweetheart? I asked, pouring coffee. For Papa, for Father's Day. He said it casually, like Damien had always been his father, like Daniel had never existed. Damien appeared in the doorway and my breath still caught, even after a year, even after everything. Morning, family. He kissed my temple, then ruffled Noah's hair. What are you working on? Secret. Noah covered the paper. For later. Ah, I can wait. Damien's hand settled on my lower back, and I felt the wedding ring there. Simple platinum band, but weighted with meaning. Though I'm not good at waiting. You've gotten better. Only with practice. His eyes dropped to my stomach, where our second child was just starting to show. Lots of practice. The baby kicked. Damien's face softened. She's strong, he murmured. She's a Volkov. Of course she's strong. I leaned into him. Though we still don't know if it's a girl. I know. He said it with complete certainty. Trust me. I did, completely. With my life. With Noah's life. With our unborn child's life. Because somewhere between that rainy alley and this sunlit morning, I'd stopped being the Omega who survived and became the Omega who thrived. Not because of him, but beside him. And that made all the difference. Mama? Noah looked up. Can I tell you a secret? Of course, baby. I'm really happy. He smiled. Like really, really happy. I pulled him close, Damien's arms wrapping around both of us. Me too, sweetheart. My eyes met Damien's. Me too. The end, from a single act of kindness in a rainy alley to a family built on love, loyalty, and the courage to claim what's yours, Elias and Damien's story proves that sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is open your heart. Thank you for joining them on this journey. From gunfire and betrayal to wedding rings and baby kicks. This is what happens when an Omega refuses to be a victim, and an Alpha learns that true strength comes from loving someone more than power itself. Their story may be over, but their forever is just beginning. Until next time.